I didn't do anything, but I read a lot. So let's talk about that, shall we? Cheers. Welcome back, everybody, to me doing the thing that I always do on Mondays, except for when I do it on Tuesdays, or forget to do it all in one go. The point is, it's weekly Navel-Gazing time, and I'm back. And we'll talk about all the books I read last week, all the things I did not do last week, and what I plan to do this week. Which is mostly what I planned to do last week, and we'll see how that goes. Anyway, that's what we're going to do, and if I come across even more frazzled than usual, that's because I just came back from a 20-hour bus ride plus train ride and so forth, like a 24-hour trip, and those are a bit tiring, I guess. Anyway, let's talk about all the books I read last week. And there were quite a few, because, you know, if you spend, 20 hours on a bus, there's a lot of time you have for reading. So, after finishing off The Middle Kingdoms by Martin Roddy, a history of Central Europe, which is mostly good, except for some bits and pieces near the end where I'm not happy with the emphasis he takes, but if you have never read anything about Central Europe, this might just be a good starting point for you. Anyway, after finishing that, I did a bunch of rereads that are all really depressing, because I did reread, in fact, All Quiet on the Western Front by Erich Maria Remarque, and boy, that's not a funny book. It's an important book, however, and if you've never read it, you should go and read it. It's, World War I memory and so forth. Everyone dies. That's not a spoiler. That's just World War I for you. And after that, I did also reread Storm of Steel, which in German is In Stahlgewittern by Erich Jünger, which is, of course, another World War I memoir, just a bit more, I don't know, pro-fascist, I guess. We don't have time to go into the entire tragedy of how terrible Erich Jünger is today. This might come up in the future. Anyway, I did reread that one as well. I did also reread Starship Troopers by Robert A. Heinlein, which, it's Starship Troopers. Look, it's been incredibly impactful on science fiction. It's also not a very good book, but I guess we just have to live with those kind of things. So I did reread these three, and then I did also read The Heart of What Was Lost by Tad Williams, which is the book that kinda connects the Memory of Sorrow Thorn trilogy with the Last King of Ostenard trilogy, so I'm moving one step further on there. And maybe it's because it's a very warlike book, or maybe it's because I read all these war books before that. I did kind of appreciate what Williams is doing there when it, in regards to the military aspects of it, so that's cool. I'll obviously make a video about it in the future. So that's all I read last week, which brings me to the reading of this week. There better be some. Actually, yes, there is. I'm finally, tomorrow when I go to the gym, I'm finally going to start to Like the Lightning by Ada Palmer. It's been years and years and years, and people have been telling me to go and read it, goddamn it, and I'm finally doing it. I'll start tomorrow. We'll see how long it'll take me. This is a buddy read with Varsha from Reading by the Rainy Mountain. And, obviously also one person that does not have a channel, and thus I will not name them for privacy reasons. Anyway, point is, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited. I think I might like this one. Or at least find a lot of stuff to be mad about, which is probably almost the same thing. Beyond that, there's always Drizzt, right? There's a lot of Drizzt books I need to read, and that's sort of the reading plans for now. Unless I plan to, of course, reread Spear or Hild or Meanwood, because I gotta talk about them on Sunday, right? You don't forget that one, right? You didn't forget that one. Tell me you didn't forget that. Anyway, point is, that's reading plans. Let's talk about videos. And I didn't make any. I just got too busy on, Tuesday, Thursday. I traveled on Wednesday, didn't make any videos, just happened that way. I just came home 2 days from that trip, so I guess that's that. Which means videos are coming. One on, of course, Unseen Academicals, the longest Discworld novel ever written. It'll come very soon. I'm looking forward to talking about it. I've made my peace with this novel over time, and I think it's a pretty good one, all things considered. So that'll happen, definitely. Then, obviously, I will talk about The Heart of What Was Lost, which is the next Ostenard book, because I haven't given up on Ostenard yet. Those are two videos that will definitely happen. I still have that other idea that I talked about. Maybe I'll manage to do that video. We'll see. There's obviously... It's high time for me to actually get started and pre-record some of the Dresdmas videos. So even though you may not see them up yet, I may actually work on them, depending on how, much energy I have left after my trip. So the week will be very, very productive, I hope. And then, of course, on Sunday, we'll have a conversation with Nicola Griffith on this channel live at 10 p.m. my time, which is GMT +1, which would also be 1 hour later than my usual live streams. Please join up and let's have a really cool conversation about Hild and Meanwood and 7th century Britain and all the good bits around that. I'm incredibly excited about this. I hope you are too, and I hope y'all show up in force, because this is it's an opportunity that to have that live with you in the chat being able to also ask questions that I think we should make a big event. So maybe we can do more of those in the future when other authors see that this is actually working and kind of cool. So we will see. That's plans for this week. Obviously, plans are notoriously fickle and never survive contact with the enemy, or in this case, the next day. But we'll have to see what we can do. So yeah, as I said, I went to a student conference in the wonderful town of Osijek in Croatia, which was really cool. I love the city. I love the people there. It's been awesome. I've had a couple of 3 or 4 really cool days, plus 20-hour bus trips, but they're worth it. And in fact, if you are a student of history, if you're a history student at a university and want to go to some kind of these seminars or conferences with other history students from all over Europe, you might want to look into the International Students of History Association. Free plug. They're really cool. And next up will be a meeting in the wonderful city of Belgrade in April. So keep that one in your minds if you want to join us for some conversations about empires and stuff. That's sort of the plan. Anyway, I had a lot of fun there. They're always a bit weird because, it's a lot of social interactions. I'm not good at social interactions. I wish I was better at it, because I do, in fact, really enjoy hanging out with people in real life, out there in the physical world. I do really enjoy it. I don't do it as much as I should, because it's also obviously taking a lot of energy from me. And I'm always worried that I behave like an idiot, make a fool of myself, all of these things. Yeah, it's draining on energy reserves that I usually don't really have anyway. So we will see if I'm able to actually, not fall into like another deep hole after this trip. Although the fact that I'm actually recording this on the same day I actually arrived back here in Marburg gives me hope that maybe this time I won't collapse. And wouldn't that be really cool? I mean, yeah, it would. Point is, I have a lot of stuff to do before the year is over, like even outside of, making videos, which I enjoy. I really should get some other bits and pieces of my life in order again. I need to work on my ADHD stuff, see doctors about that kind of thing, or at least make appointments for the beginning of next year. I really, really, really need to actually, clean my room, despite what Jordan Peterson says, and so forth. I mean, it's a bit of a mess. I need to figure this shit out, and I guess those of you who have struggled with mental health issues before kind of know that moment when you're like, look around and say, oh, this looks like shit. I need to do something about it, but I just can't muster the energy right now, and then it just becomes worse and worse and worse, and I feel I should try to get as much as possible sort of cleaned up before the Christmas holidays, because I'll be traveling for that, probably, visit my mother and stuff like that. And wouldn't it be neat if my room was didn't look like an absolute nuclear war zone? Because those are not really cool, or so I've been told by, well, all the books I read last week, I guess. So yeah, that's sort of where I am right now, mentally sort of exhausted, still on a bit of a high from, hanging out with actual people and talking for a long time, and figuring out who I am, which is something I'll, it's an ongoing process, and I don't think I'll figure it out anytime soon, but we will see. Hopefully I can get as much in order as possible over the next couple of weeks, and, do things and read books, as you should. So, I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you read last week, if you're already in, like, full-on holiday stress, or if you're trying to take it easy for now. Have you read some cool books? Which ones? If so, have you read some not so cool books? Have you done some other cool things? Let me know what you did. Let me know all the cool things down below in the comments. And I'll see you when we talk about football on Discworld and other things in the next couple of days. I'm happy to be back, and I hope I'll actually be productive this week. And I hope so will you, in whatever you'd find as productive, not what the market says. Because fuck the market. Anyway, see you around. Thanks and cheers.